Ah, the good old-fashioned dual wield. It's been with us for quite some time in movies and video games. Now, if you asked me, and keep in mind I'm not a tactical person, so I'm probably not the guy you'd want to ask, but if you did ask me, the only reason to dual wield would be to shoot at two different targets simultaneously. Why do I say that? Because that's something you can't do with a single wield weapon. Now, there will be some of you who will say, no, you shoot two guns dual wield style at one target to do more damage. Okay, fair enough, but why not just get a single wield gun that does more damage? That way you'll get the extra damage that you want, while not complicating your loadout. Anyway, back to my original point. The only reason I see to do dual wield is to shoot two different targets simultaneously. But how easy is that to do? Well, let's go to the range and find out. Okay, here's the experiment setup. I'll be using two revolvers, one in each hand. I'll be 20 feet away from the targets. Each target is an NRA B29. So, the 686 fired 7 times, the Python only fired 5. What did I do? Did I accidentally jam the Python's 6th shot into the 686? Well, the 686 I'm using is obviously the 686 Plus, so it has 7 shots. Why did I load it up with 7 instead of just 6 to match the Python? I wanted to load it up with 7. Now, don't worry, there is no last shot favoritism on the 686. The last shot on the 686, I'm still aiming as if I was dual wielding, so I'm not, I'm not shifting my eyes over to give it some, to give it single wield aim. As for the Python shooting only 5 times, yes, there was a misfire on that last round. I'll get to that at the end of this video, but for now, let's get back to the analysis. Okay, so how am I trying to shoot two different targets simultaneously? Am I aiming one eye at one target and aiming the other eye at the other target? No, I can't do that. I'm not a lizard. Maybe some of you can do that, which means you're a lizard. One of those lizard people. But hey, that's okay. I can live peacefully with you guys. Just please don't make me disappear. Okay, moving right along. I'm basically looking right down the middle in between both targets, and I'm using my peripheral vision to point shoot both revolvers. Okay, let's take a look at the right hand target. In my right hand this time was the Colt Python. I got 4 hits. One of them is marginal. I did get one bona fide fight stopper. Check it out. That's a throat shot. That's a fight stopper with a 357 Magnum. That being said, that one awesome throat shot is counterbalanced by the fact that that's a pretty horrible shot group for being only 20 feet away. So, it's pretty horrible. But, it's better than I thought I would have done. Okay, let's take a look at the left-hand target. It's just bad. 2 hits on paper, but none of them on target. But hey, you know what? It's my first time dual wielding revolvers, so hey, let me give it another shot. See what I did there? Give it another shot. All right. Calm down. Sorry. Okay, here are the results of the second string. I circled all the previous holes with a black marker and put red arrows on all the new hits. So, yeah, I got one new hit in the 7 ring, one new hit right in between the 8 and 9 rings. And check out the lower left-hand hit there. See how that hole is kind of oblong? Yep, I put 2 bolts in the same hole. I missed twice in the same spot. Yeah, how brilliant is that? Okay, on to the left-hand target. Once again, I circled all the holes from the previous string, which wasn't hard to do because there weren't too many anyway. And I put red arrows on all the new hits. And I got 1 headshot. Hey, that's pretty good. Got 1 hit between the 7 and 8 rings. That's pretty good. And that's about it. So that's pretty bad. Alright, I decided to put up new targets for this last string, and I really almost didn't need to. 2 hits on the right-hand target, and none of them count. they're off in the wild blue yonder there. No score. Alright, slightly better results on the left-hand target. Shot 7 times with the 686 plus. Got 6 on paper. Yep, there's 1 hit way up top. It's right on the edge. Almost missed, but it still got on paper. But of those 6 shots on paper, only 3 count. All of them in the 7 ring. So, yeah. Meatloaf once sang that 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Well, 3 out of 7, that's terrible. If this was a gunfight, I'd be dead. Okay, so what did we learn? Well, we learned that we humans just aren't very good at tracking multiple targets. If you are faced with multiple assailants, then either A, you're at a Black Friday sale, or B, you're not a very nice person and you made way too many enemies. But I digress. If you do have to fight multiple assailants, you're much better off engaging them one at a time in rapid succession, you know, John Wick style, as opposed to trying to take down more than one at a time. Okay, let's talk about the Python's misfire in that first string. No, it was not the Python's fault. I know that a few of the 2020 Pythons, the early ones especially, had problems with light primer strikes. That was not the case this time. I examined the primer, and it had a strong primer hit, or I had a strong firing pin hit. It had a strong indentation. So why didn't it go off? Well, I was using my hand loads, and I guess that one primer was not fitted just below flush. That's how the primer should be pressed in, just below flush. If the primer is fitted to just flush, guess what? It's got room to move, and that's exactly what'll happen. If it's at flush, when the firing pin hits it, that primer is going to scoot forward just a little bit, and sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes it takes just that tiny little bit of movement to rob the firing pin of a full hit, and that can be enough to cause a misfire. And it's not because the firing pin is weak or anything. You know, you can have a revolver with a very strong firing pin hit, but if that primer is not seated where it should be, you can still get a misfire if that primer is not seated just below flush. So anyway, the fault lies with me. It was a janky reload, and it was not because of the Python. Just an extra thought here, when I was dual wielding and firing these 2 revolvers, wow, I could really feel the 2 different personalities, I guess you might say, of each gun. Specifically the triggers. Very, very different. The Python, gonna be hard to describe. Let's put it this way. Think of the Python trigger as kind of like the luxury car. And think of the 686's trigger as like the sports car. You know, a luxury car, you know, typically has really soft steering. You know, you can steer that thing with your pinky. Very soft ride. Whereas a sports car, yeah, you're going to feel more of the bumps in the road, and the suspension is going to be stiffer. But guess what? That thing is built for maneuvering. You know, so there's the give and take. You're going to feel every bit of the road through that steering wheel in a sports car, but the end result is you feel more connected to the road. So that's how it kind of feels with these two Revolvers. The Python, very smooth, luxury car smooth, but it feels more like it's for I don't know, the target shooting snob crowd. I don't mean that in a bad way. I know it sounds like it, right? But yeah, to me, it doesn't feel like a gunfighter's gun. The Smith & Wesson, however, man, that again, it is like the sports car. Whew, you know, not as smooth trigger-wise as the Python, but boy, does that thing it's so fast. You just feel so connected to it. Anyway, just my thoughts, you know, my own little personal viewpoint. Again, both guns are great. I'm not bashing either one. Just stating my views on how I feel about the two different personalities. All right, that about wraps it up. Hope you enjoyed watching this episode. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Share this video with your friends. Take care. I'll catch you guys next time. Hey guys, yep, I made another little video game. It's US Gunner versus the Commie Clown Cult. It's a simple single-stage shooter that's a throwback and homage to the digitized shooters of the early 90s. And guess what? It's only $1. Check out the link in the description below to get your own copy of US Gunner versus the Commie Clown Cult.